During the Cold War, you spent 20 years in exile. Could you comment on your experience?
Yes, well, I went to London to attend the Jubilee celebration of the Queen and also to attend the Commonwealth Heads of Government. Behind my back, my Prime Minister made a coup d'etat, the result of which meant that I had to live more than 15 years in exile before being able to return home after the Cold War.
And during this time, did you work as the director of an airline, or?
During that time, I, very interestingly enough, I became president of Berlin European Airways. Behind every development, there's a very interesting story. At the end of Second World War, as you know, Berlin was a divided city, and the Germans were not allowed to fly within the Berlin corridor. On one side, you had East Berlin, you had Schönefeld Airport, and West Berlin, you had Tegel. Now, Tegel was under the control and influence of the Americans, the French, and the British, whereas Schönefeld was under Soviet influence. Now, I became, if you want, consultant to a German group who was involved in some airline business called Germania. And one day I met the general manager of British Airways in Germany. We were flying, in fact, from Berlin to London. And he said we were talking about the difficulties of German companies to establish an airline to fly to Berlin. And when I told him I was about to become British, he said, well, we could do it for them. So having become British myself, I was able to front for some German financing, and we formed this airline, Berlin European Airways. In fact, I can show you a photo of myself introducing my staff to the British general commanding British forces in Berlin. Please, you can take that photo because it's very interesting. Open just for a minute. That's breaking news. It was not only a question of a wall, but there was a lot of other impediments even after. I'll show you this. That's Dr. Bishop, we can wait there. Okay. Now that was the President of India, President of China, now there, Berlin European Airways. And you see me introducing the British commander.
We should show the camera.
Yes, but let them see it first and then they'll know how to focus. You see? I introduced Chief of Operation to General Commanding British Forces prior to German unification in Tegel. That's a good photo to show. No?
Yeah.
Got the breaking news there.
And another question, does the location of the Seychelles make it an important strategic island?
Yes. We are 110 islands spread over a very wide surface of the Indian Ocean. After the Falkland Island War, Admiral Hanks, head of the Institute of Strategic Studies, came up with a report of limited circulation. And he said that islands like Seychelles Islands, each one had the potential of being considered as an unsinkable aircraft carrier because we are on the most important oil trading routes. And now, of course, we've got phenomena of pirates And the Americans, of course, took an island next door to build up Diego Garcia base, from where the war against Iraq and the war against Afghanistan is being fought. Few people in the world know about this because the Americans removed the people from Diego Garcia and sent them to the island of Mauritius. So there's nobody to make noise. That's another breaking news for you.
Another question relating to the position of the Seychelles. How is climate change and the effects of rising sea levels going to have on Seychelles? And what are they hoping to get out of the Copenhagen summit, and what do they hope to see happen?
Well, I think we are taking a very active interest in the conference in Copenhagen. In terms of sea rising, let's make one point, is that our islands have two formations. Half of them are of granite formation. These rise to a height of very 1,000 feet, and they are built on strong granite rocks, and therefore they are not too much menaced by the problem of global warming. But we also have collection of islands, offshore islands, which are like Bahamas and Maldives, which are flat atolls, and they are, if you want, threatened by global warming. Well, we do hope that the big nations in the world will take into account the fact that in today's global village, it's important also to take into account the interests of small islands. And I would say no country is small if it is surrounded by the sea. Under the law of the sea now, we have got already 200 square miles economic jurisdiction. So whatever lies under the sea and above it, all important in an interconnecting world.
And moving on to your recent book, War in America, Seen from the Indian Ocean, after 9/11, what inspired you to write this?
Well, the time had come when my sons started to ask me questions, and he found out a lot of answers I did not know. I realized that I had a duty to posterity to tell some of my stories, like this one about Berlin, for example.
Okay. That's enough. Thank you very much. It's been very interesting and a pleasure to meet you, Sir Mancham.
Thank you.
Your card, you have your card or no?